Welcome back to Morning Live as we continue our conversation about the National Youth Policy, which is challenging the youth to be involved and creative. This follows their two-day National Youth Summit. And we heard from two of the delegates earlier on that 30 to 40% is about getting young people economically active. We've got two other delegates that have now joined us to just chat about some of the discussions that they've had. Tebogo Suping and Luzuko Buku, welcome to Morning Live. Thank you very much to both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Tebogo, I'm going to start with you. We hear that a lot of the policy, this visionary document that you guys have been working on, is focused on getting the youth economically active. What are some of the other challenges that have come out?
Okay, so basically the policy has 5 pillars, and economic participation is but only one sphere of it. So, for instance, I represent an organization called Activate Change Drivers. And at the core of our function is to say, how do we look at nation building? How do we get social cohesion to form part of the sphere of empowerment of young people? So we're saying, let us look at the young people as a full functional individual. How do we empower them as an individual and also as a member of society in order to address the challenges that we currently face?
Do you want to just tell us what those other 4 pillars are?
Okay. So as mentioned before, the one is economic participation. The second one that we seek to address is the one on education, skills, and giving second chances to young people who, critically, we need to state that over a period of 12 years, currently 50% of that population is not making it to grade 12. So we're saying, how are we going to address those issues? We're looking at healthcare and the scourge of substance abuse among young people. And the other one that we're looking on is how do we optimize the youth machinery in order to optimize responsiveness and the delivery of youth services in the mainstream so that we can start to integrate young people into the mainstream.
Luzuko, do you think that the youth have enough opportunities? I mean, we speak about wanting to mobilize this youth. They've got all the energy and there's so much opportunity available for them. As a young person, do you see that opportunity available?
We must say that there are opportunities created by our government, but we can't say that they are enough. The reality of the matter is that we are still faced with a variety of challenges in the economy broadly, but also in education, where we organize as a South African Student Congress. That's why our main interest in that National Youth Policy dialogue or forum was to ensure that we put content in the education priority of the policy so that it directly speaks to the needs and interests of young people on questions such as student funding. We always have strikes every beginning of the year around the question of the funding for students. So we stressed the importance of that, and we said it is important for the youth policy to take a radical approach in how it wants to address youth development and not continue in the normal fashion of a government where policy exists but the priorities are not properly set out and their outcomes are not as radically pronounced. So we arrived there with a clear mandate. We must demand the introduction of free education to be a part of the policy. And we have achieved that. And we have said as a part of our contribution that from next year there ought to be free education. And we are hoping that the process that will follow from now with the cabinet process and the parliamentary process, those issues that we are demanding as young people organizing in education will not be edited out of the policy.
You guys undoubtedly came up with some very good things to add to this policy, very important pillars to be addressed. Yes. What is the plan for implementation?
So what's going to happen now is that once the policy has become government policy in the next few months, so what will happen is there'll be another consultative process, and what that will achieve is to come up with an integrated development strategy. And that what it's saying is basically how are young people going to be involved in not just the drafting, but the implementation and the monitoring and evaluation of this process. Because what has happened over time is that there has not been that alignment of the agencies and the structures and the public sector with civil society also. It's saying, how do we also as young people champion these interests, but also take responsibility? Because part of the issues that the youth policy does address are the risky behaviors of young people, are the issues of non-patriotism, are the issues of racism, are the issues of lack of participation. So what I'm happy about is that for the first time in a long time, we would have all spheres and specters of the economy that are taking part in this policy.
Oh, Tebogo and Luzuko, I wish we had more time to speak. It's just such a broad topic to speak about. And you guys just had a 2-day summit, which I also think probably wasn't enough. You feel like you guys could have spoken so much more. We wish you all the best of luck. And thank you very much for coming in to speak to Morning Live about the National Youth Summit, as well as the draft National Youth Policy, a visionary document for the young people of South Africa over the next 5 years.